is the Bax Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Welcome inside the studio. Grant, it's Wednesday, which means what?
Hump day!
Yeah, the first hump day of the fall semester.
Woo-hoo.
So nice to be back. How you doing today, Grant?
Oh, I'm doing lovely.
You're doing lovely.
Doing lovely.
Why are you doing lovely?
I don't know. Why not? It's a good day. It's a great day.
Lovely.
I can start out the day however I want.
It's true. You can start your day out the way you want it. I started my day off by being up at 5:30 doing insanity abs. It was awesome.
And I was sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah. You call me when you get your six-pack, Grant.
All right, will do.
I know, we gotta baby steps. But
all you got to do is think about it, and it'll happen.
Is that
right?
how it works?
Yes, that is exactly how it works.
So if I think about wanting to be an NFL superstar, it'll happen.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm telling you.
It didn't happen. I thought about it.
You got to give it time.
I thought about it. What?
You've got to give it time with these things.
Okay. Anyway, welcome inside the studio, everybody. We're happy to have you here. We are broadcasting to you live on Spreaker.com. Remember, you can listen to us Monday through Friday now. It's a new exciting change for us. Monday through Friday from 7 to 8 a.m. Central, live on Spreaker.com. And then you can listen to us on Sports Radio America from 11 to 1 p.m. Central Time on Live 365 and TuneIn. And then you can listen to us on demand anytime you want on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and on Spreaker as well. And then we're also on a few places on social media, Grant, right?
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook at the Bax Grant Sports Show, where we post daily.
We do.
We post daily on all social media facets.
Facebook and Twitter the most.
Yes.
Instagram actually has been bigger for us, too.
Yeah. So we have Facebook at the Bax Grant Sports Show, and then we have Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, and you can find those at BG Sports Show.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
BG
Okay.
Sports Show.
Had to think about that for
you
a
did.
second.
You're good. It's early. And remember, you can call and leave us a voicemail or text in during the show, too, by dialing the number 262-324-2385. That's 262-324-2385. And then you can email us at bgsportshow@gmail.com. And then if you're new and hip and exciting, you can watch us and listen to us on Periscope as well. If you have the Periscope app or on the Periscope desktop version, a link is published on our Twitter feed at the beginning of every show. You can go and click on it and watch the show. You can also go back and watch it later, too, if you really feel like doing that. You're more than welcome to. We love hearing from you guys. And did you say our personal Twitters? I don't think you did.
Oh, no, I didn't say our personal Twitters. Baxter's personal Twitter is at Baxter Colburn, and mine is at Grant's Rant BGSS.
Absolutely. We love chatting with you guys. So many awesome people that we continue to chat with on a daily basis. So, and those of you that are watching on Periscope and commenting back and forth with us as well, we love that. We'll make sure to give you a shout-out if you do post on our Periscope page during the show, as long as it's appropriate. We had some people on Monday.
Yeah, being a little raunchy.
But he was a Bears fan, so take that for what it is.
Yeah, they're a little weird down there.
Exactly. But anyway, welcome inside the studio. Michael Vick, Grant, has found a new home.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
We're excited. I'm excited about it. He's not going to play, obviously. He's not going to steal Ben Roethlisberger's starting job. But Michael Vick has signed a new one-year deal after being a free agent with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I like the move because it gives Pittsburgh some depth,
right,
which I think is needed. But at the same time, I think it'll be good to also help just the last little bit of life that Michael Vick has left in him.
Yeah, and I think that'll be a really good option just in case that Roethlisberger goes down for whatever reason, because you never know, it could happen. And if that does happen, or like you could have special packages, and then you can match up Le'Veon Bell with him, and you never know. Like, that's
a smart thing to do.
Because it's like,
way to do
could
that.
he run, or could Bell run? Could Vic run? Could Vic throw the ball? Because Vic doesn't have a bad arm.
Yep.
So you could mix it up a lot with second down. If you're looking to pick up like a quick 5 yards, you could spread out the defense pretty easily with that package.
Exactly, and I think this asks the question now, too, now that the Steelers have 4 quarterbacks on their roster, do you keep Bruce Gradkowski or do you keep Landry Jones? I'm assuming, though, at least according to ESPN, a source told Adam Schefter that Landry Jones is expected to miss the next 3 to 4 weeks. I'm sorry, Gradkowski, not Landry Jones. So I don't know if they're going to keep all 4. I can see Gradkowski being let go. I could see Landry Jones being let go, because you won't sign Michael Vick just to cut him.
Right.
Most teams would not do that.
No. And it's just for a year, so you really wouldn't cut him. And Michael Vick is not a bad quarterback.
No, he's 35. I love what Coach Tomlin said about him. He said there's not a throw on the field he can't make from an arm strength standpoint. But also, he said he's a very experienced guy at what he does at this point in his career, and his mobility is still unique at 35. If I'm moving as good as Michael Vick is when I'm 35, I will be doing just fine. I'll be tearing up the Sunday rec leagues, honestly.
But there was an interesting fact that I did see this morning. At 2010, he had one of the highest or higher quarterback rankings. And then now, after the last 4 seasons, he has dropped in, I think, the mid-40s. He's somewhere in the 40s now with the quarterback ranking. And he had the lowest quarterback ranking, I believe, of 28.3 or somewhere around there.
Okay.
Of quarterbacks with 150 action plays. And that was the lowest of any quarterback in the NFL. So that is something to keep in mind, that he is a 35-year-old quarterback. But he did have that fantastic stint with the Falcons. But then, the whole dog situation, and then he never really found a starting job.
Did that really officially cement Michael Vick's legacy? Like, do you think, well, first of all, do you think he'll be a Hall of Famer?
That's a really tough question.
I feel like that's a debate that doesn't happen often. Will Michael Vick be a Hall of Famer?
Definitely not first ballot.
No.
Not like Brett Favre ranking, that next year you will see Brett Favre being inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Absolutely, yeah.
It might take a while, but I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, because how he changed the game and how there never really was a mobile quarterback, or not. There probably were mobile quarterbacks, but they weren't big like Michael Vick. They didn't change a team like Michael Vick did.
He did.
He made the Atlanta Falcons a threat.
He did.
So
they went into Green Bay as an underdog in a wild card playoff game in a snowstorm and beat the Packers. I forget what year that was, but that was a massive shift in the NFL.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL recognized him for that, because then all of a sudden after that, all the playing, like the kids,
the mobile quarterback,
that just came out because they're like, recognize his style, recognize how powerful that can be, and then all of a sudden we're seeing, I'd say about 10 years now after he started becoming big, and you're thinking about the bigger quarterbacks were starting up in football, and they could start like recognizing how mobile he is, and then learn how to be mobile all throughout their careers in high school and college, and then now they're here in the NFL. So I think Vic started something very big that should be recognized by the NFL.
Oh, I completely agree, and I think that's the reason. I think if you go back and you talk to a young Geno Smith, a young Marcus Mariota, a young Russell Wilson, Colin Kaepernick, and say, hey, who'd you watch? Who'd you like? Or who do you model your style after? A lot of those guys are probably going to say, I watched Michael Vick growing up.
Right.
Because those guys were a little bit older than us when Michael Vick was in his prime, and they're getting ready to play high school football, and they obviously developed into a mobile, throwing, running, dual-threat quarterback, and now are in the NFL because of that, and had successful college careers also. So I think that Michael Vick really did change the landscape. And you can make a small argument about the read option with Colin Kaepernick and what San Francisco did, but just the concept of a mobile running quarterback started with Michael Vick.
Right, exactly. But I do think what the dogfighting situation is definitely going to hurt him.
It is.
With the voting. It definitely did hurt his career, because
I think he's done enough to come back from that.
I think he has. He would have done a lot better, obviously, if that didn't happen. I don't know if he'd still be with the Falcons and what the Falcons would look like, but he wasn't declining at all.
No.
And then he missed however long it was. I don't remember how many years he missed, but he missed a couple of seasons. And then he came back, and he never really was what he was.
Yes.
Partially because he never got a starting job.
Which is very true.
Well, he did get some. He did get. I forget who gave him the opportunity, but he mostly was the number 2 guy.
He was at the Jets.
Yeah, it was the Jets.
He was at the Eagles and the Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Eagles were his first move, and then he was at the Jets. And then he was released this last year after the season, didn't get re-signed, and then he was a free agent. And now he finds himself on the Steelers. So it's a good move, I think, for Vic. But speaking of players that were never really able to recover after an incident, we've seen in the media recently that former Green Bay Packers tight end Jermichael Finley has been spewing different things about his former quarterback Aaron Rodgers.
Right. Well, quote unquote spewing.
Yes, quote
he's
unquote.
not really spewing.
It all is in the eye of the beholder, I guess, in terms of how you interpret, first of all, the tweet that he sent out after Jordy Nelson got hurt on Sunday against the Steelers. Jermichael Finley went on Twitter and said, "With Nelson out, let's see how good at Aaron Rodgers 12 really is. Hashtag Packers with like a little eyes emoji." How do you initially interpret that?
Well, how I initially interpret that, I'm like, let's really see how good Aaron Rodgers is. I mean, he's fantastic. What are you saying? And I was reading the article and reading his quotes, and Finley goes on and saying, I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback.
Yes.
What he's saying is he doesn't think that people respect the receivers enough and give the receivers respect, and I'll hit on that a little bit later because that's just dumb. But then, too, after he goes on and he posts that question, or that comment saying, now let's see how good Aaron Rodgers really is, he later goes on and said in a quote after he was asked about that, and he said, he will show people because how good he is. But I think that was kind of trying to cover his tail a little bit because he said he wasn't really taking a shot, but him and Rodgers
They never had a straight pass to each other.
No, they never really had a good, solid relationship.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to start with the wide receiver thing. So
yeah, and that's what I was going to go off of, too, is
right.
just something similar to that where he made the statement saying that I just feel like Packer Nation just doesn't give the receivers credit. That's just my opinion. Aaron Rodgers is awesome, a great person, a great community person. I just feel like the receiving corps doesn't get enough credit. But take Aaron Rodgers away, and how relevant are the Packers wide receivers? Right. I'm not trying to take away from Jordy Nelson. I'm not trying to take away from Randall Cobb. But if you put in anybody besides Andrew Luck, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, or Tom Brady, you put just about any other NFL quarterback.
Phillip Rivers.
Even Phillip Rivers, I don't feel like Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb are an elite. Jordy Nelson would not be an elite receiver. Randall Cobb would not be a second-tier elite receiver.
Well, and I definitely agree that Aaron Rodgers makes receivers great, and that if you can't get the ball from your quarterback, you're not going to be recognized as a great receiver. But these guys are still pretty good receivers.
They are.
And when I read that Finley doesn't think that the Packer Nation doesn't give him enough credit, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. All I've been seeing on Facebook is how upset people are that Jordy Nelson is gone.
If I was an outsider and didn't know any better, I would swear that Jordy Nelson died.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It
is all
ridiculous.
You cannot go anywhere without seeing somebody posting or an article about Jordy Nelson being gone or something like that. People are absolutely devastated. When Finley went down, not to the level as
it was never this bad.
It wasn't this bad, but people were still upset.
Is
that
he bitter
went
because
down.
of that, I wonder?
I don't know. Maybe he was like, dude, I had a serious, he had a neck
He did.
injury
He had
or
a
something.
way worse injury than what Jordy dealt with.
Yeah, but I mean, come on.
Did you see Nick Collins doing any of this?
No. But he still had a very serious, he had a career-ending neck injury.
He did.
Yeah, it made me really mad because I'm like, what more do you want from us? It's like, we pour a lot of our respect into our receivers.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, we absolutely love our quarterback, but we respect our receivers because they can catch the ball. We respect Jordy a lot, and we show him a lot of love on social media. We show Randall Cobb a lot of love on social media. Even though I don't like him, Devontae Adams still is getting a lot of love from
He's going to win your heart over this year, Grant. I have a feeling.
If he doesn't drop the ball, that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
That's simple.
Just don't drop the ball.
If you touch it, you can catch it. The famous John Madden saying.
If you catch the ball, you catch my heart.
Oh, well, we're going to go to a break and see if I can catch your heart during the break. When we come back, it's raining in Seattle, Grant, but not spelled the same way you think it's raining. We're going to talk about that and so much more. This is the Bax Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. Welcome back to the Bax Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Welcome back inside the studio. We had a great first segment chatting about Michael Vick signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then Jermichael Finley. Was he taking shots against Aaron Rodgers? Well, we'll never really officially know, but we loved it. If you enjoyed listening to it, you can go back and check it out by checking us out on Spreaker.com Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. Central Time. We are live there, and you can also check us out on Sports Radio America from 11 to 1 Central on Live 365 and tune in, and then on demand, Grant, on iHeartRadio and iTunes.
Yes.
We're all over the place. And then social media, Grant, we are very prevalent, especially on Facebook and Twitter, which is what?
Facebook is the Bax Grant Sports Show, and Twitter is BG Sports Show. And also using BG Sports Show, you can find us on Instagram and Snapchat.
Absolutely. We love hearing from you. And those of you that are watching us on Periscope, thank you so much. Hello to all of you Periscopians out there. We appreciate your viewership and listenership. I guess technically you're listening to us also, but also using your eyes to keep an eye on us. So thanks for that. Appreciate it. Love hearing from you guys. Well, Grant, I said in the last, as we were going to break, that it's raining in Seattle. Well, anybody that is from Seattle knows that it's raining. But it's a different it's a different style of rain. It's not the condensation that drips from the clouds high above in the atmosphere.
How so, Baxter?
It is
How
the
so?
soccer world, Grant, the National Women's Soccer League, the NWSL, the Seattle Reign, Reign. See what I did there? The house band. We need a house band. Anyway, put it on the list.
Cue the rim shot.
There it is. Anyway. So the Seattle Reign, Grant, they get ready to take on the Boston Breakers this very evening.
Ooh.
And if they win, they will claim the NWSL Shield.
Is that like the best record?
It is.
Okay.
Yep, they will
Just
claim
making
with
sure.
the best record. I know, for those of you that don't know, Grant's soccer knowledge is a wee bit off par. It's kind of how my hockey and baseball and basketball and college basketball
Not my
and college
fault.
football
Not
knowledge
my
are.
fault. I never really got into soccer.
No,
okay?
you're fine. We're trying to get you into it. But the Seattle Reign are looking to win their second straight NWSL Shield. Meanwhile, the Boston Breakers are looking to play spoilers, Grant. Do you know why they're trying to spoil the party?
Why are they trying to spoil?
Because the Boston Breakers are the worst team.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
So if and only if the Seattle Reign are not able to hold on and beat the Boston Breakers tonight, it would be their first loss to the worst team in the league.
That'd be rough.
It would be. It'd be very rough.
That'd be a little rough.
Now, our good friend and comrade over at Vavel USA, Chris Blakely, had the inside info on this game and was very thorough about his article that he wrote about it. It's interesting, Grant. He brings up Kim Little, the reigning NWSL Player of the Week. Well done, Chris.
That was very good. I didn't catch that until now. That was good.
That's terrible. It's awesome, but it's terrible. He spelled reigning a little like the team's name, Rain. But she's coming off a fantastic fantastic last week where she dropped 3 goals against the Houston Dash. This is her first ever NWSL hat trick. And against the Dash as well. There really aren't enough words, though, to describe just how dominant Seattle's been playing. They've got the likes of Megan Rapinoe and Hope Solo on the team, 2 dominant U.S. women's national team players that even Grant knows.
Yeah, I knew Hope Solo. I knew that one. I was
you know who Megan
oh.
Rapinoe is? She's got the short blonde hair.
Oh, I might then.
You might.
I
If
might
you saw
then.
a picture
I
of her,
probably,
you might. Yes.
I've seen. Is she on the national team?
She is.
Okay, then I probably
She's
seen a picture of her.
short little spunky gal that plays up front.
Did she kind of spike her hair up?
A little bit. No,
Okay.
that's Abby.
Okay.
Abby Wambach.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, Megan Rapinoe's shorter. She plays on the wings sometimes.
I'll Google it.
You Google her while I continue talking about it. But anyway, according to Chris Blakely, the keys to the games, though, will be Seattle's midfield, which is certainly true because they have one of the best midfields in the entire league with the combination of Keelan Winters and Jess Fishlock. I know how to read and speak English at the same time. Mixed in with Kim Little also. They have a fantastic, dominant approach that really most teams cannot keep up with, Grant. It's interesting. It's the classic David and Goliath storyline that really just I don't feel like David's got a chance in this one.
Right. So it's if you have the most powerful offensive weapons and you can't stop them, how is the worst team in the league going to stop that?
Exactly. An act of God. That's how. Whether or not that actually happens, I really don't know about that one. But Boston, they carry an interesting lineup moving into this game, but they just they just have not played well this year, unfortunately, which has really been devastating to them. Boston thought they had a decent squad this year, and it has not worked out. At the end of the day, though, Chris Blakely of Vavle USA, he predicts that Seattle is going to win this game 3-0, Grant. I don't disagree with him on that one. Do you think it'll be a shutout, or is Boston going to steal a goal away?
Probably not. Seattle 3, Boston 0 sounds pretty reasonable.
No, I agree with you. And Chris's explanation for it, too, is he feels that the first half is going to be a bit of a struggle for Seattle, but towards the end of the game, Seattle's just going to be like, all right, enough of this, and then just kind of go ham on the Breakers, which rightfully so. I mean, Seattle, they're playing lights-out soccer this year. Boston, better luck next year, maybe, ladies. I mean, I don't know. Seattle is just such a terrific team, league-leading. They're looking to grab their second straight NWSL Shield tonight, so good luck to those ladies, and we'll see what happens, Grant.
All right, excited.
Absolutely. So we're going to go to another break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Draft Fury CEO Ken Liu, as he will be chatting about his new fantasy daily sports website, draftfury.com. That and so much more to come here on the Bax Grant Sports Show. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Bax Grant Sports Show. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Welcome back inside the studio. We've had a great show thus far. We're excited because today, Grant, we have a special guest joining the show. We will be joined in just a moment by the CEO of DraftFury.com, Ken Liu. And for some people out there, you play fantasy football, you play fantasy basketball, fantasy baseball if you're really into that whole 163 game thing.
And hockey. Don't forget hockey.
Fantasy hockey, I'm sorry. I play fantasy soccer a little bit too, but
really?
I do. It's a weird format, but it works. For soccer nerds like myself, it works. But a lot of things that people complain about, though, is the season-long commitment, especially in fantasy football. Your top player, Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, hypothetically, if this was during the season and Jordy would have blown out his leg that way, that throws off somebody's team the whole season. That's a huge building block.
And still people who drafted him before the preseason game.
Exactly.
So those people are out big.
Exactly. So now they have to get rid of him and bring in another guy, which more than likely won't produce to the same a bit. So the people have such an issue with not being able to they're locked into these teams, and if you're like 1-10 in your season, well, you're not going to have fun. You're going to be like, what the heck? This is no fun. So,
and then where are you going to want to do it again?
Exactly. So some people have put together the idea of daily fantasy sports. Now, we are not complete experts on it, but we've recently started playing a little bit on DraftFury.com, and we wanted to bring in the CEO of DraftFury.com, Ken Liu, and have him kind of explain how he came to conceive the idea that is Draft Fury. So we'd like to welcome Ken to the program. Ken, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
No problem, Ken. We appreciate you taking the time. We're excited to hear about Draft Fury. Now, just the name Draft Fury, it sounds exciting, honestly. It's like, ooh, Draft Fury. Like, I think anytime you hear the name Fury, you're like, ooh, what is this?
Let's
go. So we're excited to hear about your site, Ken. How did you get your start? What motivated you to bring Draft Fury to existence?
Well, I've always been interested in fantasy sports and sports in general. I'm a huge sports fan. And surprisingly, I had actually never heard of daily fantasy sports until last year. And coincidentally, I happened to have lunch with two different friends within the span of 2 days, and they both mentioned daily fantasy sports to me. So, that got me really intrigued, because especially since this is something I'm already interested in the first place. So I started researching it online. I kind of, I was actually interested in playing it at first, but as I was researching it, I realized what a great opportunity it was to actually get into the business.
Yes.
It's basically ground floor. There are 57 million people in North America that play fantasy sports.
Holy cow.
Wow.
There's that many?
Yeah.
That's
it's
a lot.
that many.
Holy cow.
And it's growing. It's going 14% a year, and that's just traditional fantasy, and then
Sure.
daily fantasy is right now a small part of that, but it is growing exponentially. So as I saw that this was a tremendous opportunity to get into something on the ground floor, and I thought that the existing companies out there, that there's a demand for some things that they were not providing. So for instance, my site is catered towards more casual fans because, like I said, there's 57 million people out there,
Yeah.
and we want to transition them into playing daily fantasy, and I want to facilitate that transition.
Okay. Yeah, your site currently offers Major League Baseball, NBA, and then NFL as well. You just recently launched NFL, which obviously will kick off. You're not doing any preseason games, am I correct about that?
No, we're not doing any preseason games because we find that the preseason games is a lot of luck. Like, you don't know who's playing, you don't know how long they're going to be playing. We don't really want people to have money in the line in those types of circumstances.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
we're just going to wait until we're just trying to build up, momentum towards week one. To facilitate that, we're offering a free entry contest. Basically, anybody can go on the site and enter it, try our site for free, and we're paying out $1,000 in prizes.
Wow, that's fantastic. I know that anytime you mention that you can sign up for free and win money, I think that usually is going to spark a lot of people to want to do it. What motivated you to want to be so generous? Is it just trying to bring in people, trying to spread the word, or like what's the motivation behind that?
I honestly feel like we have a superior product to what's out there.
Okay.
So I have no problem giving away $1,000 because I think that people will play in this. It'll get people to play in the site, obviously, and once they play on it and have a good experience, I think that they'll stick around and continue playing, and that's the whole goal. Is we want to acquire new users.
Okay.
And like you said, offering a chance to win money for free is a good way to entice them.
Okay. Now, you said that you have a good product. What makes your product better or different than FanDuel, DraftKings, the other sites that are out there that we see so much publicity about, that people are like, oh, sign up, win millions of dollars? What makes Draft Theory so much more unique?
Okay, well, there's a few ways I can answer that. Like I said, our focus is more on casual fans who are trying to transition the existing fantasy players to playing daily, and our research has shown that there are some barriers to doing that because a lot of people think that daily fantasy is too complicated or that it's too time consuming. So to bridge that gap, we wanted to make it very, very simple for people to transition.
Okay.
And one of the ways that we do that is we have this game type called Pick'em.
Oh.
So instead of a complicated salary cap that some of the other sites have,
Not a fan. Not a fan of those.
You're not a fan?
I know.
Okay, so
It's too much pressure.
What I'm talking about. And it can take a lot of time to find the perfect combination of each position and within a salary.
Yep.
So what we have are these pick'em games, and how that works, if we're talking about NFL, because that's coming up, so you have 9 tiers of players, and in each tier there are 7 to 9 players.
Okay.
And all you need to do to make a lineup is pick one player from each of those tiers, and that's it.
That's
so
pretty
you don't have to
simple.
worry about position. Right. You don't have to worry about position. You don't have to worry about salary. You just pick whichever player you think is going to do the best, whether it's, first tier would be like superstars like Aaron Rodgers or Odell Beckham. You just choose one, and then you go on to the next tier. So a lineup can literally be made within 1 or 2 minutes. It's designed to work well on mobile, on the phone, so people can just do this while they're at work.
Now, a question for you. You're saying that your product you feel is superior to these other big sites that we see other publicity for, and what I hear sometimes from these bigger sites is that some of the people that have been playing for months or even years and win tons of money off of this feast on the people pretty much who are just trying to start out, start having a good time. Is there and they lose pretty badly because
they
they're
get
rookies.
taken advantage of.
Right,
Yeah.
and to these people who are veterans and know how to play the game. Now, is it more balanced on your website? Is it kinder to the beginning person, since you're saying that there is more you want it for more people to transition from season-long fantasy?
Yes, absolutely. And we do want to make it much, much friendlier than the other sites. Like you said, on the major sites, there are people that are just professionals. They spend, 12 hours a day researching it. And it really is just very difficult for a more casual or beginning player to have a chance on those sites, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
So my site is much more casual friendly. Like I said, the pick'ems make it very easy to transition players into this game. And also, we have something called Fury Arena, and that's actually unique in the industry. And how that works is it's a head-to-head anonymous matchmaking system. So instead of having these sharks come in and find weaker or newer players to play with, nobody can tell who's in the pool. It just if you want to play in this head-to-head pool, it just tells you how many players are in it for each given stake, and then when you enter it, when the game's locked, we actually use a proprietary matchmaking algorithm, and that
fancy.
That kind of determines it groups players into tiers based on what their skill level is, and we match people with players within their own tier. So that way, a casual player who just just wants to play for fun, he maybe spends 10 minutes or 20 minutes making their lineups. They can be matched against each other versus a super pro. Like I like to use this analogy. Like if you like boxing and you want to go spar, you go to the local gym. You're going to want to spar with somebody that is your skill level. You don't want to step into the ring. Mike Tyson knocked out in 2 seconds. And,
I would not appreciate that very much.
No, not at all.
So that is painful, and I think the experience that people have with some of these bigger sites initially is it's very painful, and they end up losing, and they probably don't continue depositing. So I am really interested in player retention. I want the players on my site to have a good, enjoyable experience, and of course, having a chance to win is a big part of that.
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome. It seems like you have such a great product that you're marketing, and you've only been around for a couple of months. And as you look forward to the future, Ken, are you looking to add any more sports? Are you looking to add hockey or soccer or any other sports at all that you think that might be marketable and bring people to your site?
Oh, absolutely. We're looking at adding all of the major sports, golf included.
Ooh,
and also we're even looking at adding esports, which is something that a lot of the major sports. It's something that's taking off, and we want a piece of that too. And the more sports that we offer, the greater the player base that we have to draw from.
Absolutely, yeah.
No, that's fantastic, because I personally closet esports fan, and it's really starting to take off. So that's actually really exciting for me to hear that, because you never hear of a site ever talking about esports at all.
Huh. Well, that's a fantastic idea. And like you said, Ken, that might be an untapped market that ends up working out, benefiting your site in the long run. Do you have any projected timelines? Are you going to try to get hockey up at least before hockey season kicks off again, or what are your thoughts?
It kind of depends on how. Right now, we're focused on NFL launch. Of course, we want to make sure that goes perfectly, and then we're going to launch other sports, as quickly as possible. So, like I said, the more sports we have, the greater the user base to draw from. So we're definitely going to try and add things as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Well, I know as soon as you get hockey, Grant is going to be jumping all over that, because he's a huge hockey guy. I mean, I don't mind it, but Grant's a diehard. He's been sweating, hockey for many, many years.
Many years.
But that's why we love him. So, well, Ken, we really appreciate it. We're excited because we're both, Grant and I are starting to play on Draft Fury as well, and when you sign up, there's different opportunities that you can do as well through the website. And I know that for right now, if anybody that signs up and they use the promo code BAX, B-A-X, they can get 100% of their deposit matched. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Fantastic. Yeah, so when they sign up, they can go to just drafttheory.com, and when they sign up and they ask for a promo code, if they use the promo code BAX, they get 100% of their deposit matched, and I'm going to deposit $20. Oh, I've got $40 all of a sudden. It's a great way to, like you said, entice them a little bit more, but also to show your appreciation and thanks to them joining the site also.
Right, and it's up to
It's up to $1,000 on the first deposit. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Absolutely. Well, awesome. Well, Ken, we really appreciate you taking the time today, sir. Do you have any other closing thoughts or remarks you want to let the listeners know before we send you on your way?
No, not really. I think thanks for having me on the show, and I hope everyone tries the site. They can play the free roll, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Ken. Remember, you can check out Draft Theory at drafttheory.com. They're also on Facebook and Twitter at Draft Theory accordingly. Thank you so much, Ken. You are the CEO of drafttheory.com. Go check out the website, Daily Fantasy Sports. It's growing in popularity. Ken Liao, we appreciate your time today, sir. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot. That's awesome. I love that. Daily fantasy sports. Who'd guess? It's something that's really going to be, I think, coming around in the near future. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I didn't know about that esports thing. That got me really excited.
I know
actually.
you were like jumping out of your chair. You're like esports.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't
what
hear
is this?
that. Yeah, it's like you never get people talking about esports. I was like, oh, I am ready to go.
Absolutely. Well, before Grant jumps out of the studio, we're going to go to another break. When we come back, we've got a lot more exciting content to get to. This is the Bax Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. Welcome back to the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Welcome back inside the studio. If you missed our last segment, we had a great opportunity to chat with DraftTheory.com CEO Ken Liao, talking about his new daily fantasy sports website, DraftTheory.com. Go and check it out now. It's a lot of fun. Grant and I have recently started playing, and we wanted to mention, we didn't get a chance to mention it in the interview, but I wanted to mention it now. There is a referral program that you can be a part of as well on DraftTheory.com, and the way that works is anytime that you sign up on DraftTheory.com and refer your friends and say, hey, you should go check this out, that you can earn up to 70% of the revenue that they generate based off of that. So I know that it's an exciting time. And when you do sign up too now, if you use the promo code BAX or the promo code GRANT, not Bax and Grant, just either Bax or Grant.
Or, yes.
Or not Bax or Grant in the promo. Anyway, 2 words. Bax, that's one, quotes, or Grant, quotes. If you use either one of those when you sign up, use the promo code BAX or Grant, you will have your 100% of your first deposit match. So if you deposit $20 in, you're going to get $40 immediately. That works up to 40%, up to $1,000. I don't know how to read and speak English. I say this every day, I swear. I need coffee. This is why we need an intern. We need a new intern because I need coffee every day.
But the last one didn't get you coffee.
That's why she was fired. No, intern Laura was not fired. But anyway, drafttheory.com. Go check it out today. Let us know if you're on so we can play with you guys. We would love to take you guys on and beat you and, show you how it's done. We'll take you. Bring it on. Bring it on. But you know what I really want to bring on, Grant? It's time for Grant's Rant, if you didn't know. The music that brings ladies from far and wide because they're like, oh, Grant is going to speak.
But I'm married.
I love Grant. But they just listen to your soft, succulent voice, Grant.
Awkward. Okay.
Is that too much? I don't know.
Love it.
Well, anyway, for those of you that know, Grant's Rant is now. And it's exciting because Grant gets 1 minute to rant about anything he wants in the sports world. And then we get to hash it out a little bit more in further detail. Are you ready, sir? You're keeping with the NFL theme from what I've heard.
The Jordy Nelson theme, actually, too.
Oh, boy. All right, well, the minute on the clock, Grant, your time begins now.
Glover Quinn, a safety from the Detroit Lions, made a comment. And part of that quote, he said, God had meant for Jordy to be hurt. Now, saying that if you take it out of context a little bit, that's a little like, what are you talking about? But he later came out and said God is not specifically trying to go out and get Jordy Nelson. And that I completely agree with that. I think people were taking it way out of context. What he was trying to say is that it's just part of God's plan and that whole thing. But then Aaron Rodgers went and actually retweeted a post from TV show actor Brian Baumgartner, who said players who have the audacity to believe God decides who gets injured/wins games completely minimize God. God had it out for Jordy? Absurd. Which I think people are just taking out of context. Quinn went out and cleared his name. I think he did a really good job. Just next time, use better wording.
Time's up. No, I agree. Anytime you throw God into the mix, it just gets dicey.
People get all like a little bit on edge, and then when
the fact that he said God wanted, God meant for him,
it wasn't the best wording. I'm gonna say
that. I get the fact that obviously God knows everything, and we have the ability to speak freely about God on our show because we are both Christians and we're both okay with we can say that. But anytime you bring in God into the mixture and trying to say, oh, God meant that. Well, yes, God knows what's going to happen all the time, but the way he phrased it, though, I feel like. And on Twitter, you couldn't hear the inflection. You couldn't hear how he would have said it.
No, he didn't say it on Twitter. He said it in an actual interview.
On an actual interview.
Yes, he said it in an actual interview. No, it was an actual interview, and it was if you take the quote out of the interview, it's kind of just meh. It doesn't sound so good. Let me try to find the whole interview. Okay, it said, I feel like if injuries were going to happen, same way Jordy got hurt. I feel like injuries are going to happen, same way Jordy got hurt. There we go. Okay. Phrased it correctly. I hate that Jordy got hurt, but in my belief, and the way that I believe, it was God had meant for Jordy to get hurt.
Yes.
If he wouldn't have got hurt today, if he wouldn't have played in that game, if he wouldn't have practiced anymore, and the next time he walked on the field would have been opening day. I feel like he would have got hurt opening day.
So at the end of the day, Glover Quinn believed that there was an injury coming for Jordy Nelson regardless. Right. And none of us ever know.
No. You really can't tell. And the whole thing with should we do preseason, and
it Quinn does raise a good point, though.
Yeah, Quinn was saying, but what he was trying to get at, he went on further and was saying that you're going to have injuries anyway. You shouldn't take away preseason. And I'm kind of on the fence about it. It's like, yes, at the same point.
Don't take preseason away. I think it should be shorter.
I think it could be
2
shorter.
Games is plenty.
But then again, how much time are you taking away from the players that could really benefit from it? And you don't have to have your starters out there the whole time. You don't even have to start or even play your starters. But the big thing for that is Jordy Nelson was hurt the first drive. So it's like, you want to give him some
catch
time.
Of the game. It was, and Mike McCarthy spoke in a press conference after the game that he planned to keep his starters in until the second quarter.
Right, and he did for some of them.
He did, yeah. Eddie Lacy and some of those other, Randall Cobb, some of those guys got a few offensive linemen especially. They were all getting some reps because they need it. Just with this, the way that this is phrased, though, the way that everybody is taking this, I feel like anytime God is brought up in the sports media world, people freak out, people overreact, and it just is very unprofessional, unfortunately. Which is unfortunate that players and athletes can't share their faith without getting it blown out of proportion in some way, shape, or form.
Well, it was when it was said it was God had meant. I think when he used that wording, when he said it that way, it wasn't the best.
No.
If he said it was part of God's plan or something along those lines.
Or God knew that Jordy was going to get hurt.
Right.
There's a different way to phrase it, but when he said God meant, it's almost like, God smited Jordy Nelson the second he caught the ball. It's like, ha-ha, ACL,
lightning
goodbye.
bolt. Just an ACL lightning bolt
exactly.
to the knee.
Exactly. No, that's not what I feel like what he meant.
But then kind of going off what you were saying about people overreacting and stuff like that, there's been tons of examples where it's happened. I can just think of more recently where Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson said because for religious beliefs and everything like that.
He's very active in his faith. Yeah. People know that.
That him and his girlfriend are going to stay abstinent.
Which is good.
Yeah, and people
kind of he's dating Sierra, too, who's not a bad-looking woman. She's very, very pretty, very respectable in the entertainment world, but the fact that a high-profile million quarterback is saying, my girlfriend and I are going to abstain from doing what we would do in the bedroom until we're married, if that's what God intends, I think is brownie points for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, but people gave him a little bit of crap for it. And
because that's the media
right.
world.
And then you go and look at Tim Tebow. How much garbage did he get? Now it's Tebowing for his just how he prays. That's just how he prays in the end zone, and people actually kind of turned it into something that he can be made fun of.
It is,
for.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah,
because anytime you see somebody Tebowing, you're just like, oh, look at them, they're Tebowing. It's like Tebow was praying, and thanking God for that opportunity that he had to score. How many other times do you see wide receivers in the NFL? I've seen it happen more than once, where they catch an awesome touchdown, and then they go down on one knee, say a quick little prayer, and get up and then celebrate with their teammates.
Right.
Like, what's wrong with that? How come they're not getting front page ridiculed for that?
Yeah, it's just because they're standing out. And it's kind of unfortunate to see that in the sports world, but I guess it's all over in media.
It is, which
today.
Is,
so
yeah, that's unfortunately the world we live in right now, Grant.
Yeah, but it's good that people are getting out there, and it's good that Quinn was able to not be afraid and to step up, and he still supported his answer. And then what I think was really good is Jim Caldwell went out there and he said, I think he did a very good job of explaining himself thoroughly. It just so happened that a few people decided to make the headlines a little bit more explosive, and if they would have taken what he said into context and written it as such, it wouldn't be such a big issue. So it was a really good play by Jim Caldwell backing up his player. And I think that's exactly what he should have done. So
absolutely.
Props to him. He did a very good job handling
the Lions
situation.
did something right, Grant.
Yes, they did.
Well done, Detroit Lions and Jim Caldwell. We appreciate that. All right, we're going to go to another break. When we come back, the latest Madden rankings have been released. And Grant and I are going to give some of our reactions to how we feel some of the top players in the NFL and some of the rookies as well were rated. And you never really know what else is going to happen on the show. This is the Bax Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. Welcome back to the Bax Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Welcome back inside the studio as we get ready to talk about the game that will separate many a relationship. No, not FIFA, for many of those out there.
That does
FIFA
that, too.
Fans. That does. No, Madden 16 is just around the corner. It's exciting. It's hot.
EA, man.
EA
Destroys
Sports.
families.
It's in the game. That was my childhood.
EA Sports.
That and the
It's
Backyard Sports, like, humongous entertainment theme. That was
Good
my childhood.
stuff.
If you wanted sounds of my childhood, it was EA Sports and the Backyard Sports little like
Commentators and the announcers.
I'm Sunny Day.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Exactly. And this
Good
is
stuff.
Vinny DeGooch and all those people. Well, Grant, the latest Madden rankings have officially come out, and some people are a little frustrated by them. Other people,
Always.
most people are
Always
fine with
frustrated.
them, though. You and I'm pretty okay with them, honestly.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job with it, especially in the rookies. We were talking about it before. We were really happy that Amari Cooper was actually ranked better by 1 overall point than Jameis Winston.
Yes.
And we felt like that was appropriate.
Oh, absolutely.
So-
Amari Cooper receiving an 82 overall for being the 4th overall pick. He receives an 82 overall in Madden. Jameis Winston, the number 1 overall draft pick, receiving an 81.
Yes.
Which I think is fair, personally.
Yeah, I thought with Melvin Gordon, not Monte Ball, excuse me, getting my Wisconsin running backs confused. Melvin Gordon, I felt like he was ranked a little low at 78 overall. What brought him down is they're saying his trucking is ranked at a 69, and what I said to that, it was like, hey, go tell Melvin Gordon to truck you. Stand 5 yards in front of him, and he'll truck you. I'd definitely say
He's
you'd rank it a little
6'1",
higher.
215, Grant. I think he'd leave a mark.
Yeah, and yeah, so I felt like that was a little low, but other than that, I felt the rookies did a really good job. What I recommend, if you haven't done it yet, and you can find it, it's rookies give themselves their rankings.
Yes.
And then, so it's rookies react to their ratings. And so they give ratings for themselves, and then they're given their actual ratings. And I forget who it was, but a couple of the guys say 90. One of them said 95.
There's no way. As a rookie,
Yeah, no.
you need to be like the greatest to ever play the game to be that high as a rookie.
I'm glad Madden can knock them down a few
They
pegs.
need to, because
Yeah.
these guys are probably like, oh, I got this, and some guys like Marcus Mariota, I think he said 80.
Yeah,
And he was
like,
he's a 78, and he was like, and he was still surprised by that.
yeah,
Like,
there
78. Like what?
yeah, there were some players that got it like right on, like 80, 82. Or there was one player, he had really good attitude about it. He was like, that'll go up.
Yeah.
So it's like
he was motivated by
yeah,
it. Like
he
if
was-
that's your driving force to be motivated for the season,
You're
first
in-
of all,
yeah.
you need to get your priorities checked. But like my Madden rating, it's gonna go up. Like,
But hey, at least you're starting somewhere.
Exactly.
That's good attitude. Good attitude.
it knocks them off their high horse. Looking at the quarterbacks, Grant, no real surprises here. Aaron Rodgers, 99 overall, one of 3 only 99
Yes.
overalls in the game. Aside from that, you have Mr. Gronkowski, Mr. Rob Gronkowski, and JJ Watt.
JJ.
So 3 99s overall. The other quarterbacks fall in accordingly. Tom Brady, 97 overall. Drew Brees, 95, despite having like nobody to throw to this
Right.
year.
Unfortunately for
Big
him.
Ben, he's been hanging around. He's a 95, and then the young buck, Andrew Luck, 94.
I see what you did there. Young Buck, Andrew Luck.
Yep. That's what I do, Grant. That's what
No,
I do.
I thought those were very appropriate, and the Madden has been doing a really good job. I think they're honing in their skills, getting all the players,
yes.
and they're very accurate, not just with the big stars, but with the minor players. If you go and if you look at the ratings for the teams, they go and will give a rating for each team, and even the worst ranked team, which is the Titans, I believe they're ranked as 72.
Ouch.
If I believe correctly, they will go and they have specific rankings for certain players that they say can make an impact or are starting and need to make an impact, and they'll give their rating and
Bishop
all the
Sankey
stats.
probably comes to mind first for me.
Yeah, he's definitely on there, and they're very specific, so they do a very good job. And on this ranking system, all you got to do is go to EA Sports, Madden, and then there's NFL player rankings, and they're all there. And they did a pretty decent job with that.
They did. They absolutely did.
And now, looking forward to the running backs because I feel like that's an interesting thing to look at. You have Marshawn Lynch.
Yes.
It's a 96 overall, not shocked by that. Fantastic running back. Then you have Adrian Peterson with a 95
So
overall.
do you think that that's fair enough that AP is rated below Marshawn Lynch?
I'm not going to fight it because I know people are going to say, you missed a season, you don't know. And
enough.
people are going to say that Lynch is better than Peterson. This season will show that Peterson is better than Marshawn Lynch, but 95 is extremely fair. That's a very good rating.
Okay.
Then you have Jamal Charles for the Kansas City Chiefs. Jamal.
You mixed
Excuse
DeMarco
me.
Murray and Jamal Charles.
I was
together.
looking at his last name while I was saying his
I'm
first
gonna
name.
name my firstborn Jamaro.
I was looking
Tell
at
my wife that. She'll appreciate it. Jamaro Colburn.
Get over here. So you have Jamal Charles ranked at 94, then DeMarco Murray at a 94, which I don't think DeMarco Murray is that good
He
of a running
earned
back.
it last year, but this year I don't. We'll see how he does this
It'll
year.
go to show. Okay, if DeMarco Murray wants to get rid of the Cowboys offensive line was so good, that's how he was able to put up so many yards last year.
Yes.
He needs to make a statement, and I know it might be hard because he has a legion of Zoom, and the players are going to be rolling around. But if he can do almost as well as he did last year, he can prove a name for himself.
Absolutely.
And to show that. So this is a big test for DeMarco Murray this year. And then the fifth top-ranked running back is Le'Veon Bell with 94 overall for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He has a league best 99 carrying as well, which you don't see very often, which means that boy does not fumble that ball.
No, not
he
at all.
holds on to it.
Oh, and another interesting thing that I found hilarious for J.J. Watt's rankings, because he had 3 touchdown receptions, they actually give him, I think, like a 76 or something catching.
Can
it's
you
actually
play him
really
on offense,
funny.
though?
If you could, I mean, J.J. Watt can play every position
I know
known to
he
mankind.
I don't know.
So I
if he
wouldn't be
can,
surprised if you could put J.J. Watt in there. But yeah, J.J. Watt earned him a 78 catch rating for going in, and
so maybe he might get some more
receptions.
some more interceptions or something. But speaking of
Maybe,
catching,
yeah.
though, looking at the wide receivers in Madden this year, Antonio Brown tops off the list with a 97
Not
overall.
shocked.
Not at
shocked.
all. Fantastic lights out wide receiver. Dez Bryant takes the second spot with a 96 overall. Calvin Johnson, Megatron, he falls all the way to a 95. He's third overall. And then the man that is overly hyped, Odell Beckham Jr., is at 94.
Yes.
And then Julio Jones is a 94 from Atlanta, which I'm a little... Julio Jones, I don't know if he's a 94. Where's Jordy Nelson?
Jordy Nelson has an ACL injury. That's where he is.
Not in Madden, he doesn't.
I think he's a 92. I believe Jordy Nelson is a 92. So he didn't quite make the top 5, and unfortunately he really can't now make a name for himself this season and bump that up. So it'll be a little while before I think people are, I don't know why, but will recognize Jordy Nelson as a top receiver, which is unfortunate because he is. Oh, he's a 93 overall. So he just missed.
Missed it.
Just missed the top 5. But for all of you know, we are big Green Bay Packer fans, NFC North. So
Clay Matthews is in
yeah.
Okay.
We'll quick look at the divisional because they go break down division by division.
Yes.
So they rank the Green Bay Packers as 90 overall. I believe that's the third highest team ranking. So you have the Packers with 90 overall. The Detroit Lions, 7-point drop to 83 overall. And you have the Minnesota Vikings with 77, which I feel is a little low.
With that one, yeah.
Everybody is giving Minnesota a bad rap this year. They're saying they're not going to do much. They're not going to make it very far.
Teddy Bridgewater's an 82 overall.
Yeah, and they have Adrian Peterson at 95, like we said before. Yeah, and their defense isn't bad. Their defense is actually pretty solid. They rank Harrison Smith, 93 overall, Xavier Rhodes, 86, Robert Blatton, 86 again, Everson Griffin at 89, and defensive tackle Sheriff Floyd at 87. Sharif. What did I say? Sheriff. Oh,
put him up.
Sheriff. Sharif. Excuse me. Sharif Floyd, 87 overall. And even, apart from Madden, I hear it all the time that the Vikings aren't going to put up a solid team this year.
Which I don't understand what those people are using as a reference point. I think, maybe the weak point of the offense is Kyle Rudolph at tight end.
Yeah, their tight ends are solid. And their lines, they're going to have to prove themselves this year.
They lost Phil Lodehold with an Achilles.
Right.
So that's going to obviously be devastating for them. They've got a 4th-round draft pick stepping in to fill that spot.
They have a bunch of young talent on those offensive and defensive lines. And if they all come
together, Minnesota is going to destroy people this
year.
Yes.
Like I said before.
Are they going to win a Super Bowl this year? No.
No. But they're going to put up a winning record.
Are they going to make the playoffs?
They might.
I think they will.
They might. People are saying that the Lions are going to top them. I don't know how good the Lions are going to be this year, especially with that defense being knocked down so much after losing Sue
and Nick Fairley.
Yes, and Nick Fairley.
Not buying it. Not buying what the Detroit Lions are trying to make the rest of the world buy.
And then finishing out the division, the Chicago Bears are ranked 75 overall. Jay Cutler, interestingly enough, his rating is a 79. He is ranked lower than Jameis Winston.
How does that make you feel? Look at who he's throwing the ball to, though. Martellus Bennett, 90 overall. Alshon Jeffrey, 90. Kevin White, 78. And versatile Matt Forte, 90.
Yeah, so, I mean, he has weapons. And he had weapons. He had Brandon Marshall. and
He did.
he just doesn't do much with it. But you got to feel bad for the guy, even
you
though
do,
he's a
I
Bear.
guess.
Like, look, he has
What
a
if he
pretty
went to
decent.
another team?
it's-
That's another time.
But
Another
it's
time.
just his. He has the receivers.
He does.
He does, and
It's
he just
not
doesn't
rocket
get it to
science.
him.
That's the classic case of saying that the receivers make the quarterback
Right.
because
It's.
they don't.
But
I mean,
you really have to feel bad for Jay Cutler because you look around, he has had a pretty good career, but last season he just got ripped apart by the
Absolutely.
media. And so I kind of feel a little bad for him, but
Oh,
then at the
Jay.
same time I'm like, whatever.
Exactly. Go Packers at the end of the day, right? So,
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in to another exciting edition of the Bax Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. Grant and I had a great time today. Thank you so much for tuning in. For those of you that listen to us on Spreaker.com, remember you can catch us Monday through Friday from 7 to 8 a.m. Central live. And you can catch us from 11 to 1 Central on SportsRadioAmerica.com, Live 365, and tune in. And then you got us anytime you want on iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, and on iTunes as well. Just search for the Bax and Grant Sports Show. And then social media, Grant, where are we at?
We're at Facebook at the Bax and Grant Sports Show, and you can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at BG Sports Show.
Absolutely. We always try to post videos daily for you, so we love hearing from you. And those of you that watched us on Periscope, thank you so much. We appreciate you watching and listening to us on Periscope. Tell your friends about the Bax and Grant Sports Show. Go and like our social media pages and continue to tune in. We appreciate it. We love you guys. Thank you so much. And if you ever want to get a hold of the show, it's bgsportshow@gmail.com. He's at Grant's Ranch, BGSS. I'm at Baxter Colburn. Love hearing from you guys. Until tomorrow, my good friends, special thanks to Ken Liao of DraftTheory.com for coming on the show today as well. He's Grant Coppersmith. I'm Baxter Colburn. We'll see you guys tomorrow.